That's that real talk. It's time to heal. Nothing but the truth, we got that real talk. That's that real talk. It's time to heal. Nothing but the truth, we got that real talk.
Welcome back to episode 6, Real Talk Uncensored. We're back again. Thanks for joining us. We've had the previous sessions on manhood, womanhood, and now we're going to wrap it all together with the concept of community, of family. And so the topic today for this evening's discussion is, where is the village? Where is the village? So I'm joined by my great guests once again. My name's Shola, Real Talk Mentors host. Where is the village? Some viewers have written in and sent us a few questions, a few prompts. So just to keep it nice and tight today, I'm going to use some of the questions they've sent in. Okay, and they've said, look, where is the village? What is the village? What's your concept of the village? You know, we're talking about intergenerational healing. So if we're talking about the family structure, the younger generation, the older generation, how is it all pulled together? You know, how does it make sense? You know, is there still a village with us today? UK 2020. I want to give it to our friend Devon first.
I'll say no, because we've integrated with many cultures, yeah. So we're not just around black people, around white people, Asians, Chinese, and it's like everyone looks out for themselves, to be honest. So if I have a problem today, my neighbour ain't gonna be like, hello, or talk to me because he's from a different culture, or he thinks he doesn't want to mix with me. And yeah, so I'll say no.
Okay, good answer. Okay, Venice, what would you say?
For me, I feel like because we live in such a Western society, we kind of adopted their practices, and they don't. Back home, we have our villages, we have our communities. Whereas here, they don't. So because we live in their land, we haven't really. Not all of us have taken what we had and bring it over here. Okay. But from my experience, for instance, like my little community that I have where I live, we are a community. Okay. Because like my neighbours, if they spot something that's odd or weird, they will knock my door and say, oh, there's a guy that's taking your car or something like that. So like they're very,
sure, you
know, so, and they're from different cultures as well.
I want to come back to you on that point. Remind me, there's something I want to bring up there. Karma, where's the village? Where's our community now, 2020?
It's not like where is it, but I know the village definitely still exists, and I wouldn't say it's in a set place, but it still exists in this, I think, we're disenfranchised as a village. So we look at, obviously because we're so disenfranchised and so there's so many different sects of us, we don't look, it's hard to see the union, if that makes sense. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And when we do come together as a union, it's more differences we're speaking on. So it's just, more differences than pluses.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right, fair point. Elizabeth, what would you say? Where's the village? Where's that concept of community?
I think community is still very much apparent. However, the values in that community has changed. So we have subcultures, you know, people have their sects, their, you know, whether it's gang culture or whatever, it's still in some sense a family, a village, a community. Okay. Just the values.
So it's what people tie into, what people sort of tap into. Yeah.
I think the values have changed.
Okay, good. So the whole concept of this, I mean, we probably heard this saying. They say it's an old African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. Now my question has always been, I keep hearing this and it sounds great rhetoric and sounds sort of encouraging. But my thing is that who are the elders of that village? Who are the nurturers? Who are the role models of that village? Because if they're not the right role models, it means that whatever nurturing, we used the word nurturing before, if the nurturing is kind of tainted and it's not right, it means that the whole village is infected, isn't it? And affected. So doesn't it go back to this whole thing of what levels of experience and care and empathy and compassion, everything are being filtered down through that that family line. And when we talk about a village as well and family, we're not just talking about the immediate family, the family nucleus, are we? We're talking about extended family. Yeah? So as you said there, Elizabeth, I mean, it could be whatever culture, gang culture, whatever, where people feel comfortable, where they feel it's a safe place is what people now call a community, isn't it? Yeah? But how have we then, as the black community, where have we kind of digressed from that?
I don't know where
have we moved away from that?
I feel like, so yeah, we'll keep using the analogy village, but I'm going to add in the word huts as well. So it's like, we've got the village, in villages there's huts, right? Everyone's just focusing on their own hut at the moment. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And they're in their hut and they're like, this hut is my village. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So they step out and then there's
a peak and step back in again.
There's conflict.
Okay. Right, so we're talking about this collectiveness. We're saying about as a community, you know, where have we kind of lost this collectiveness? Because the thing is, look, again, we don't want to just keep talking about the negatives and why this is happening. What's the solutions? Where's the way forward? Yeah, we've heard this thing of, I think we said something before about crab mentality. Yeah, I think it was Elizabeth, yeah? Why is it that we as a community have this thing where we want to be stepping on each other to elevate ourselves rather than be collaborating?
I think it's one of two things: desire. I feel like the desire has so been infiltrated in a way that it's dysfunctional almost, and not realistic. So, you know, we have idolized kind of like celebrity status of everyone trying to achieve this thing, which is great.
There's nothing wrong with aspiration, is there?
No, it's to have aspiration.
I'm still on this same point, the crab mentality.
Okay, cool.
Rather than link together, rather than collaborate, rather than work together.
Because everyone just wants to win. That's how I see it. Nowadays, like, there's only one winner. That's how everyone sees it. Obviously, we know, cool, if you ain't gonna work me, then if you're not gonna work with me, then I'm gonna go through you to get what I want. If you're not trying to help me or uplift me, like there's some people that will drag you down. So that kind of changes your environment and the way your mindset works. So you just think, I just need to get it for myself, no matter how I get it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
But doesn't that happen? Doesn't that happen in all communities?
I feel like there's a breakdown of trust amongst us. I think we do not trust each other as a people.
We're not patient either. We're not patient with each other.
Only reasons.
Remember last time we touched on it, the lack of trust in it. We're constantly going to other people for our resources, bro. So like I said, if the younger generation is doing it and the older generation is doing it, we don't see the value in each other. Do you get what I'm trying to say? We don't see the value because we're going to demand, you know what I mean?
Bernice, you were saying?
That we don't even have patience with each other. So like, whereas if you get bad customer service from like Tesco, you're still gonna shop there. But if you get bad customer service from a West Indian or African shop, you are quick to now take it out on Instagram and then like tarnish their business. You're not even gonna give them a chance to say to them, oh, actually, maybe this is the way you can better your services. Give them, you know, ideas and stuff. I think we don't have patience with each other. I feel like we all, with that like whole hut thing, we're all kind of, like you said, like we have our own little families and stuff, and we're just too busy to be helping others, I think.
Okay, would you say then that we're more busier than other communities?
No, I just feel like we all individually want different things. So for instance, like in the Asian or Indian community, they all work together to have their shop and stuff, and their outcome is probably like money and to buy houses and stuff. I feel like as people, like your goal might just, you know, be completely different to mine. So it's like, why am I working with you if we got different?
So basically, we've become more selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no group economics amongst us. There's no that togetherness of, well, me and you try something together and we put you on, and then after you can put me. There's none of that goes on. So we don't understand that. Indian community, the Asian community, they understand group economics. You know, you see it in all other different communities, except us. We struggle a little bit more.
It's culture, I think it is.
But I do also feel like that has a lot to do with our history and that whole poverty-stricken or poverty-driven mindset that has been put in us.
Well, I like what you said there about that's been put in us, because obviously that's not the case.
No, it's
the
not.
label,
Yeah.
the labels that we've been given to some degree is what we've then accepted.
It's a social construct.
Exactly, because that's not us. Now, if we're talking about this healing intergenerationally, we've got to start to talk to our younger people about not just about the possibilities here in the diaspora, outside of our the West Indies or Africa, but look at what's back home, the wealth and the richness that we have. And until we start nurturing that, doesn't it fit back into identity and self-worth and self-esteem? Because if you knew that you were a king, you're not going to be talking about, well, I just want equality, because you're royalty. You understand what I'm saying? So in terms of your whole mindset, it's going to be up there.
I agree with you.
You're not. If you've been eating crumbs all your life, you don't know what a cake looks like, bro.
That's the
Do you
thing.
know what I'm trying to say?
No, you're right. But you see, this is where there's a I've got to hear about responsibility. Yeah, where's the responsibility factor gone? Because if you don't know, as you said, you will never know. But if those lessons have been paid forward, if they've been passed down the line, you're going to get that. You talked about this rites of passage thing. It's something again that we need to be kind of nurturing and sort of developing and putting out there, so that we're standing, as a people, Going back to this whole, I got another point here. It says, okay, what's when we talk about foundation and our roots, I'm a plugger for looking at foundational issues, right? Rather than the symptoms, the symptomatic problems. When we talk about the knife crime and the gun crime and all these things, they're not because people are bad that they're inherently bad. It's because of there's something in the foundation that's not right. So how do we address these things? How do we go into these areas for this healing that we're talking about? How does it happen?
Looking at your home situation, like everything starts from home. Looking at your mum and your father, your dad, their upbringing, how they raised you, and just beating it from home first. Then I'll say then look into your friends and who your environment, because your friends are what make you as well, your environment as well. So.
Sure. Because we said before about history, for example, there's a call out there, black curriculum. Because one of the things I want to say to the viewers now, make it very intentional, look, Black History Month finished last month, October, We've set our stall out and said, you know what, we're not tuning into that. We're going to talk about black awareness and nurturing 365 days a year, 24/7, it's non-stop. So if that history is not being taught from home, we've all agreed that a child's first school is the home, yes? So do we agree then that nurturing should come from the home?
Yeah.
The same way that we teach a child to brush their teeth and to walk and to eat, shouldn't where we come from, snippets of where we come from, also be taught at home?
Cool. Yeah, 100.
Why is it the responsibility of a government or an authority? When we are supposed to be, that's our responsibility, yes? So going back to this family thing, are we in agreement that we as parents, as adults, as youngers, there's got to be this kind of collusion, hasn't there? This kind of coming together where we start to build ourselves, in a more progressive way. Elizabeth, you say
I agree with you there. We need cohesion. There needs to be the coming together. But I feel like as well the responsibility for every man's individual well, not in a selfish light, because when you're doing true inner work, that expression is showed outwardly. So that's where the community comes in.
Yes.
So what am I trying to say? Every man must, go into their self, work on their self, find their path. And with that, you're able to express, it's always inside, outside.
Definitely.
And that heart mentality comes in, I guess, as well there, because if you're a man in your house and you're doing inside, outside, your inside, outside is going to leak into your family and
That's
your children.
Right. Of course, that's right.
And that inside, outside is going to leak into the village, so to speak. And then it just spreads. So the responsibility of doing the inner work and going into self and exploring, going down your path of finding you know, your history, or
Yeah.
you know, those things are
Yeah.
very much important to the collective healing,
Definitely.
or the collective rising consciousness amongst us as a people. But it starts with self first.
Definitely. Thank you.
Facts.
So I want to take it back to younger people, because I want to, you see, with the young, look, we're trying to really be at a point where, as a young person, Devon, yeah, what would you like to see more of from your community, from your village? Us here today now, we can class ourselves as a village, can't we? So what would you like to see from, in terms of nurturing and mentoring and encouragement?
Talking about my personal experience, I'm gonna have a baby soon, so
Okay.
I might
congrats.
look to like my god brother or whoever
Sure.
to give me guidance, or like look to like my aunties and who's had that experience before, help me, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. And would you put that message out to people like your peers, to your guys? Yeah. You give them that same kind of advice. That this is the way to go. Yeah. Because what we're seeing, I think, I say to my young daughter sometimes, she's 14. I say, look, you know, there's that teenager, and they think, right, well, yeah, you don't understand. And I'm like, well, what don't I understand? Because we've been there. But at the same time, I do understand where she's coming from. But I always say, look, if you want this, it's got to be a give and take. So we've got to listen to our young people, but our young people have also got to listen to elders as well. So you've got that, joint communication going on. Yeah. Okay. Karma.
I would just say, like, be happy to nurture, innit? Like, again, I'll use an analogy. So
Yeah.
plant your seed, i.e. that's helping another. Tree grows, apple tree, apple falls off, someone else can benefit from it. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
You see, what we're doing here now, we're saying, okay, look, everyone's had a level of experience, all of us here now, and people sometimes come to me and say, look, why are you doing this? What are you getting out of it? What do you get out of it? I said, I have to do it. I have to pay it forward because somebody did it for me. And they didn't have to. Yeah, so it's only right then that you now pay it forward again. You keep that ball rolling.
Hand the baton.
Yeah, you hand the baton through. And that's how we're going to start to build
Change.
and change and develop and progress, you know, to where we're supposed to be. Yeah. So when we talk about village and family, as I said, it's not just about the immediate family. We've had situations sometimes where there could be a child or a grandchild, and the responsibility is left to the mother or the father. But should it be like that? Shouldn't the rest of the family be involved in that whole nurturing experience?
100%.
I would say so, especially when, like, it's a family, so it can definitely affect the family. Do you know what I'm saying? So the whole village should want to
We should be in
play
there.
their part. Yeah, of course, because they would 9 times out of 10 would be the first to say, "Oh, look at the nasty, negative, bad village child or village person." So as opposed to doing that, play your part, help out first, try and nurture before we get to that stage. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, going on that, yeah, like 100%. For example, yeah, cool. Let's just say one anime that I watched, like Naruto, for example. He was the bad kid, which the whole village started saying bad names to him, and then he ended up becoming a bad kid. He was just acting out. He didn't really care.
Yeah.
Get me? That could make him move a certain way. Basically, he's hearing those nasty things. He thought, right, if I'm nasty, then I'm just gonna be that way. But no one really chatting to him, talking to him, putting him to the side, having a one-to-one. Like, why are you moving like this, sort of thing. So them
That's
influences him.
That's it. I think
man.
that's so right. I think, and that's what we're saying about the mentoring and, you know, just advising and supporting. How important is it, Devon? How important is it to you then, as a young guy, to know your root, to know your foundation? Is it important to young people?
100%.
Now? It's very important. Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause like, if you go to school now and you don't know your root or know who you are, that could be the first sign of your, for example, racism, and then you don't even know why they're calling you this and that because you don't know yourself or who you are, sort of thing. So it's always
It's
good
true.
to know who you are.
Very true. I mean, just talking about bringing in this name thing. It was many moons ago when I was maybe a bit younger than you in school, and I think I said it before. I used to cringe when they used to read the register because when my name was being read out, I'd be like, what? Because they would pronounce my name and just mess it up. And I was like, no. But the thing is, the laughter wouldn't come from non-black people. It would come from my own people.
It's probably embarrassment. They feel that, you know.
You see? So, but because I knew my roots and I knew who I was, and it had been put into me, listen, this is what your name means. This is who you are. Even though it bothered me, it wasn't traumatic for me. It didn't become a traumatic thing. You know, nowadays there's all people talk about trauma from all different stuff. You know, and you think back and you think, well, hold on. Well, this happened to me, and I'm not going to take pills or go and get counselling. You know what I mean? So, you know, people are laughing, but it's true. But
now things change, because now, like, our culture is now becoming a trend. So, like, the music and, you know, the food, everyone's, especially like non-black people, are understanding more about our culture. So, probably in schools, we're not gonna have people that felt like you, if you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So.
Because it's more of a collective now.
Yeah,
more,
we're making. Well, it sounds bad, but it's like coming out as like a fashion accessory. So now, like, non-black people want to name their children Kofi, for instance. You get what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Okay.
Or Israel, or, you know, all the Bible names there. We would use those for our children's names, but now they are. So. And
how important is that? I mean, I want to just touch on this a bit, Vilis, because the name. How important is the name?
I already said, like, when I do have children, I want their names to mean something. I don't want any English name. I don't have an English name. I think it can give, like, I don't know, sense of identity, power, self-worth. And when I'm not English, so why does my child need an English name? So, yeah.
Okay, good. We talked about rites of passage, Karma. Have you experienced anything like that, or would you?
No, I ain't had no rites of passage, but I do feel as though if I had one at a younger age or whatever, I went through one, then I would have definitely, especially me being me, I would have definitely looked to it and known that I was somebody other than what was being pushed in my face and being told who I am, kind of thing.
Yes.
Or the label.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth, just to come to you, I hope you don't mind me sharing what you told me earlier about Africa and your whole zeal and passion for the motherland. What's your take now? And so we're talking about this rites of passage. Do you think that it's good for young people to go on a regular basis and get to know who they are and so forth?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, obviously we're here in this Western society. And in our essence, in who we are as, you know, our person, our makeup, it's almost like putting something that's so, like, you know, putting it in a box, and we're trying to find our way in something that doesn't really fit the mold. And so, yeah, it's not to say that we can't function here in the West, because black people were found all over the earth.
Definitely, everywhere.
However,
there's a joke there's a joke about. Someone was saying to me the other day, look, you Nigerians, you're everywhere. Any corner of this earth, you're there. You've got a plot there somewhere. Yeah. So sorry, you were saying?
No, so yeah, I do feel like it's important that we do connect to some form of history, understanding ancestors, words spoken over us. I know, like, for example, in Gambia, in like a wedding ceremony, they will have these people that they will come from your family line, and they will sing a generational blessing over you. So it's something that's travelled down your line, but we don't have such things here, you know. And just touching back on what you were saying about the power in the names, and the names is that prophecy. You're prophesying every time that child's name's called. You're prophesying over that child what is to come off that child. So all of those things are they're necessary for our growth and our development. We're here in the West. Most of us born in the West. However, I do feel like we just need to tap back in and reconnect to that.
And this is it. This is heritage, isn't it? This is part of our heritage. It's our culture. And there's nothing wrong with sort of not mixing the two, but sort of knowing where you are here and knowing what you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back home. And then moving in that strength, you know, in that plan. I think, again, in terms of how we mentor young people, and even to ourselves as well, older people, It's kind of resetting that mindset. Yeah, so that's where we are. So look, we're not finishing up. There's still going to be more on this family nucleus. Thank you for being on set again. Thank you for sharing your views. This has been Real Talk Uncensored. It really is uncensored. If you feel you have any views, any comments,
subscribe, like,
and share.
Thank you. Real Talk signing out. Thank you.
That's that real talk. 24/7.